for Alan as a farewell gift, but he still can't talk to him without an unnecessary attitude. After that, Rodden and their Sia walk Alan to the Baron's convoy, and with a sad but hopeful goodbye, he leaves the village for a future different than what he wanted. Soon after that, Alan reaches the Granvelle estate in the middle of the city, and he is dazzled by the wealth and luxury of the Baron's family. Not long after that, he gets his first job as well, which is to become a ladder for Cecily to stand on so that she can pluck fruits from the tree. She keeps telling him to move to the left and then to the right, and then curses him when they end up in the same spot. Alan is pissed at her and wishes that at least she had thick thighs, because then he would have gladly listened to her. Cecily says that she can't reach the fruits because he is a short king, and Alan tells her to stand on his shoulders instead of sitting to increase her range. Cecily realizes that is a good idea, but warns Alan that he will be immediately fired if he lets her fall. She gets on his shoulders and starts plucking the fruits, and Alan is almost on the edge of his patience as she succeeds. However, once she takes a bite from the fruit, she spits it out because it is bitter, and Alan says that according to his saying, fruits on high trees are not always sweet. Cecily asks if he knew that the fruit would taste bad, and Alan acts polite, telling her that he had no idea. Cecily just scoffs at him and then tells him to immediately go to the market and purchase a sweet fruit for her. Alan would rather do that than talking to a bitch like her when suddenly, a huge shadow covers the entire mansion. Alan looks up to see a gigantic airship above them, and he can't stop gasping at the magnificent sight. Cecily, however, calls him a country idiot because that is clearly a magic ship. Alan remembers how Pell once told him that magic stones could be used to power magic tools, and he wonders how they could be used to power something so big. He can't stop staring at it with an idiotic grin on his face, and Cecily tells him to go to the market when he is done. The next morning, Alan wakes up in a shed covered with spider webs because it is his new bedroom. He feels refreshed after getting a good night's sleep, and then feels even better because his E-ranked grass-type summons smell really nice and reduces his mana recharge cooldown. Alan is in mood to conquer his chores for the day, but first, he goes to have breakfast in the dining hall for all servants. There, he greets the head servant Rick, who asks if he is getting along well with Cecily. Alan thinks about how that purple-haired brat is always bossing him around, and Rick starts pitying him. He tells Alan that the life of a manservant is not easy, and if he had been an ordinary hallboy, Cecily would have bothered him less. Alan asks Rick what exactly is the difference between a hallboy and a manservant because no one has given him a clear answer before. Rick tells him that butlers, head chefs, and other important posts are called high-ranking servants, and the lower-ranking servants include coachman, cook, gardener, manservant, and housemaids. All the high and low-ranking servants are considered part of the family, but hallboys are occasional helpers and they don't count as family members. Alan takes notes of the lecture, and he asks Rick if servants are really considered part of the noble's family. Rick affirms, and Alan finally understands why his dad was so emotional when he became a manservant. Alan sees Baron Granvelle with even more respect now, and he vows to work hard to earn his trust. Later, he helps set the breakfast table for the Baron and his family, and he is surprised to see that they are eating the same plain soup and bread that the servants were eating. Alan wonders if the Baron is broke or if he simply likes to save money. The Baron's wife compliments Alan, saying that he has quickly learned the basics of being a servant, and he replies that it is thanks to the teachings of his seniors. This impresses the lady even more, and she says that Alan is quite intelligent and well-mannered for a serf. Granvelle adds that Alan doesn't have a talent either, which makes Cecily curious. She takes this chance to boast that she is a wizard, and Alan is impressed because that was a 2-star talent in the game menu. She proudly declares that her elder brother Mihai is a swordsman, but her other brother Thomas seems hurt because of this conversation. The Baron scolds Cecily, reminding her that she should not boast about talents. Suddenly, Thomas starts crying, saying that he is the only one without talents, and the Baron tells him to cheer up because he is going to go to the Nobles' College in the capital. Tommen cries that he doesn't want that, and instead, he wants to go to the Academy City like his brother Mihai. The Baron tells him that it is not possible because only those with talents go to the Academy City, and the rest go to Nobles' College. He begins talking about how he was also born without a talent, so he went to the college where he met his wife and started a family with her. Both of them tell Thomas not to lose hope, and Cecily takes out her frustration on Alan by giving him the stink eye. Later that day, Alan has half-day off, and he decides to hit the streets to learn more about the city. He sees a bunch of adventurers heading into the guild building and immediately follows them, asking the receptionist if he can become an adventurer too. She asks how old is he, and on learning that he is only 8 years old yet, She tells him to come back 4 years later because he needs to be at least 12 to become an adventurer. He refuses to give up and starts collecting information around the guild building. He goes to the notice board where bounties on various monsters are mentioned. He finds that weaker monsters like horned rabbits only fetch 1 copper coin, but stronger monsters like goblins and orcs can earn him silver coins as well. Just then, a rugged adventurer calls him from behind and tells him that this is not a place for kids. Alan politely tells him that he is just leaving, and then suddenly asks him why there is no spawning place mentioned in the monster posters. The adventurer goes along with the flow and replies that they are common monsters that can be found anywhere, so a spawn place is not needed. He suddenly realizes that he is teaching a brat without a fee and once again tells Alan to go home. Alan realizes that Mr. Crop Top is actually a pushover, and he asks him where can he find monsters of each difficulty rating. The adventurer says that higher ranked monsters are found far away from human settlement, with the most powerful monsters being found in the White Dragon Mountains. Alan takes advantage of the pushover and asks him about the monster with a bounty of 200 gold coins on it. The adventurer replies that it is too powerful and fast, so they should leave monsters like that to the knights. Alan then asks him about the white dragon that has a bounty of 1,000 gold coins on its head, and the pushover replies that the white dragon is the strongest monster in the region, so no one can defeat it. However, there are huge reserves of precious mithril in its mountain, so the bounty on its head has kept going up, but no one is willing to risk their lives. Alan figures out that if the reward on the white dragon keeps increasing, it means that the mithril in the mountain must be worth a lot. Just then, the party members of the pushover Raven come there and start discussing which pub they should visit today. Alan takes this chance to thank Raven and leaves the guild to focus on his other plans for the day. He runs to the city gate at full speed and the guard stops him, asking him for the permit to exit the city. Alan shows him the badge of Granville family and the guard apologizes for stopping him. He opens the gates for him and Alan rushes outside excitedly, hoping to slay a lot of monsters and get a ton of experience. The guard is worried and asks Alan to at least take someone to protect him from monsters, but he doesn't listen and soon goes out of reach. He decides not to go too far from the city or the monsters would be too tough for him, but he is confident that he can take down D-rank monsters easily. Once he reaches the forest, Alan first summons his E-rank hawk and tests how well it can obey his orders. He finds that the bird is smart enough to follow simple instructions, and he decides to use its abilities to search for monsters. He summons 5 more hawks and sends them to scout the area, and in the meantime, he summons a saber-toothed tiger. Alan tests its intelligence too and finds that the oversized cat is too dumb to follow orders and likes to roll on the ground instead. Soon after that, one of the hawks returns to him with good news and Alan follows it to hunt some monsters. The hawk takes him too far, but luckily, there is a whole pack of goblins waiting to be hunted there. They notice Alan before he can summon any creature and try to jump him, but Alan immediately summons 5 saber-tooths to guard him. The goblins hesitate to attack him and Alan doubles down by summoning 5 more saber-tooths behind them. He commands his Pokémons to attack, and they start overwhelming the goblins, but not without taking some damage themselves. Alan summons the butterfly that uses its special skill to give melatonin to the goblins so that they can sleep. Once they are easy targets, Alan tosses a rock at one goblin, but he finds that he is not strong enough to kill them with a ranged attack yet. He lets his saber-tooths finish the job and gets 1,000 experience for hunting 5 goblins. Alan feels like he hit the jackpot because goblins are easy to defeat and give a good amount of experience. He harvests their magic stones and then orders the hawks to find more goblin groups nearby. He keeps searching and defeating goblins one by one, and by nightfall, he has defeated 80 goblins and 5 horned rabbits on the side. Alan juggles magic stones as he celebrates leveling up twice in the same day, and he simply thinks that it is the best day of his life. He plans to hunt some more monsters and asks the hawks to find more prey for him, but they shake their heads in disappointment because they don't come with inbuilt night vision. Alan panics on hearing this because he was counting on the hawks to lead him back home, but he somehow manages to find his way on his own. Over the course of the month, Alan goes out to hunt monsters on each of his off days and reaches level 12. He also gets some custom-made iron balls to throw at monsters so that he can do more damage. He feels happy about his progress and thinks that it is time to become more ambitious and hunt even stronger monsters. With those thoughts in his head, he sneakily enters the mansion at night, but gets spooked when he sees the towering frame of the head butler, who was looking for him everywhere. The butler takes him to see Granville, who first praises Alan for becoming a great manservant within 1 month of starting the job. However, he is quite curious about how he spends his time off because he always leaves the mansion in the morning and returns late at night. Alan understands why the Baron would be curious and decides to give him an honest answer. He replies that he goes to the forest to hunt monsters, and the Baron is even more intrigued now. He asks the reason behind that, and Alan quickly takes his daddy's name, saying that he is the son of Rodden, the boar hunter, and hunting runs in his blood. That answer is enough to convince the Baron, and he tells Alan that no one can stop him from following in his father's footsteps. The butler then asks what he does with the horned rabbit meat he hunts, because if he sells it to butchers, it